What's up, everybody? My name is KSaun. Welcome back to the WDL. This is Season 2, Week 5 of the Rundall Division. If you haven't watched already, last week we had a bunch of the other players in the league shoutcast a lot of the games for me as I was on vacation, was out in Arizona enjoying some of the nice weather. I am from the Midwest where it is not so nice right now. We deal with ice storms and a lot of snow and a lot of stuff like that. So getting away from that was a fantastic experience. Got to enjoy the vacation with my wife and my in-laws. Had a great birthday. Just overall great time. That being said, I am super thankful to all of the players who shoutcasted the games last week. I think they did a tremendous job. We got nothing but good feedback in the comments, so thank you to Ram9, SurfTaco, Turambar, Spike, and Sandrooster for doing all of that. They did an excellent job. And good to know for the future in case, you know, there's any sort of reason that I can't do it, that some of those guys can step in for me. So that's really awesome. So that being said, I'm ecstatic to be back. I'm really excited to shoutcast 5 new best of 3s for you guys today. Before we do that, let's take a look at the standings going into week 5. So for the Rundall division, we've got a 2-way tie for first. We have MaechenX, Shoopufs, Sweetheart, and Coppola's the Gnostics. Currently both sitting at 12 points. In third place, we have AllSmokedUp's Gumi Gods versus Willy Goat's The Corpse Brigade, who actually play each other this week, so that'll be an interesting matchup. In fifth place, we've got SurfTaco in the Superrenes, currently sitting at 7 points. Sandrooster's Bearhemian Rhapsody at 6, the team that decimated me last week, if you haven't watched that already. In 7th place, my team, the Demon Detectives, currently at 5 points. Mr. Aloha's Pineapple Pizza with 4 points in 8th place. And then we have King Delita's Black Sheep Knights with 2, and Unhindered Storm Reborn, currently still sitting with 0 points down at the bottom. We've got a bunch of really good series for you guys today. Let's go ahead and just jump into them. Okay, guys, for the first matchup preview today, we've got Unhindered on the left side of the guild, Eureka's Ward, coach of the Storm Reborn, versus on the right side, Sandrooster of the guild Get Swifty, coach of Bearhemian Rhapsody. Unhindered, unfortunately, to this point, doesn't have any points. He's had a very rough schedule, and he has been so damn close in some of these games, but unfortunately has not been able to pick up any points. We'll see if he can change that this week. On his lineup, we've got Esther, Sorrow, More the Merrier, Little Leela Halloween, Rain, Tifa, Frederica, Phoebe, Sosha, and Mish. And on Sandrooster's team, we've got Jaden, Summer Jaden, those two together, extremely powerful. Summer Helena, Queen of Horn, Mashri, Queen, Engelbert, Ravi's Winter, Cyril, Murmur, and Zazan. Honestly, to this point, Sandrooster has been on a tear running that double Jaden comp. Didn't bring it out in the first couple weeks of the season, and I'm wondering if he's regretting it, because those two, together with the Zazan, look damn scary. One of the strongest teams I think that we have in this entire league. And for Unhindered side, what will we see? With this map that we're going to be playing on here, does he try and go with something with like Little Leela, trying to burst them down before, you know, they take out his whole team? The one issue that I had with Jaden and Summer Jaden was, how do I get damage down before they just destroy me? Like, I can't close the gap quick enough. One thing that we saw from the Unhindered division a few weeks ago when Maverick played against Turambar was he just kind of blitzed him for Little Leela Halloween. So maybe Unhindered goes with strategy, something like that. Does he go with something like Sorrow, who can be kind of dodgy? Jaden and Summer Jaden do both have guaranteed hits, so who knows? That being said, Bearhemian Rhapsody has a bunch of other options. Even though that team has been on a tear, they have so many other units they could go with, so it's not like you can just assume that they're going to be running that team, but it should be an interesting one. So let's go ahead and jump into this match and see what they brought. All right, guys, game number 1 here. Sandrooster showing that Summer Jaden versus Unhindered's Little Leela Halloween. So kind of like I said in the matchup preview, probably that double Jaden comp. Does Unhindered try and just rush him down with More the Merrier? It's going to depend a lot on positioning, so we'll have to see what happens here. So Jaden's going to go March of the Stag, get that agility up on both him and his twin. What is Summer Jaden going to do? Going to pop Pad Foot. So hate down, get haste up, and this team is very speedy. That is one thing I'll notice. Halloween Leela might be in range here. What could she pull off? Level 4 Aeroga. How much damage does this do? Almost enough. Holy cow. And Raid's going to go next. If Phoebe can pop a Quicken on... Uh-oh. Phoebe just... Oh, no. This Quicken is going to go on Rain. Rain just popped Hate. Little Leela Halloween. Oh my god, if this Quicken went onto her, she would have just blown them up. Summer Jaden, what is he going to do here? He's probably going to go for Little Leela. Midsummer Sniper takes her out in one hit. Oh my god, if Rain didn't pop Astral Guard and that Quicken goes onto Leela, I think Unhindered just smokes him here. This is not over, to be fair. They're very low health bars. They're probably not going to heal. If Rain can get in range to just hit with an AoE, Rain could take this fight, like 100%. Because Phoebe has full life as well. So this would be interesting. Rain's going to walk forward. Zazan cannot get in range to do anything. Rain needs to live these 2 hits because they're going to... That is a good start to living. Magic Reflex. Midsummer Sniper comes out and misses the Rain. There's no way Jaden one-shots him. And he might be able to get in range for like a Firaga or something like that. He's going to pop the Limit Break though. Rotary Magic Cannon. Going to break through him. Start that chain. A good amount of damage. Actually just below half health of Rain. And Phoebe's going to channel. I have to assume this is a full life on Literally La Halloween. The CT is going to matter big. Oh, he goes Shining Nova onto the Zazan, though. He can't reach the other 2, or Zazan's running Hate. I'm not entirely sure. Zazan has so much movement, I couldn't tell whether he was running Bowtie or not. But the full life goes on Little Leela. Who goes next in the turn order? This is massive. Summer Jaden goes. Rain does have Hate. He needs to live this. He does not. He drops a 7k. Zazan and Jaden are going to go next. I don't imagine Little Leela has any way to live through this. And Murderous Blade from Zazan actually does 8,500 and takes her out instantly. Looks like Sandrooster is going to take this game 1. This is probably going to be a 3-0. But man, oh man, was this close. If I feel so sad for Unhindered here in this game. Like, really unlucky, honestly. If Rain was a little further away that Phoebe couldn't reach him, this would have been so clean. I didn't even think about the fact that she had Raze, and Raze misses. Honestly, looking at the CT on the left side in the turn order, as Jaden goes ahead and takes out Phoebe, with that turn order, if that Raze hit, Little Leela Halloween would have actually went next and might have even been able to get an AoE on both Jaden. So maybe they still win that if that Raze goes off. But hats to Sandrooster. I mean, this team is just so damn good. But again, if that Quicken went on to Halloween Little Leela instead of the Rain, I think Unhindered takes that game 1. If I'm him, I'm bringing the exact same comp. I'm trying it again, and I'm making sure that the Quicken goes on to Halloween Little Leela, and I'm hoping to God that I pick the right side of the map into these Jadens, because I think that is like the only way that you can beat this comp with his team. Let's go ahead and see game 2, see if he tries to pull that out, and let's see what happens. Okay, guys, game number 2 here. Same units showing. So is it the exact same team from Unhindered? Trying to get that double turn off from Little Leela right away. I think that's probably his best strategy. It's actually not. He actually switches out Phoebe for Sosha. So interesting to see here. Not saying that that's not the right play. I'm just curious to see what happens here. Because, I mean, I think, like, Rain taking Hate is good. To be fair, if Little Leela Halloween doesn't get picked off right away and is able to just get 2 attacks off, Unhindered could win this. She goes for Aeroga. It's only going to hit Zazan, but he does drop. Where is Rain sitting, though? He is very far away. I'm pretty sure these Summer Janes are going to be able to reach Little Leela Halloween. They need to be able to hit Rain for Unhindered to have a chance here in this game, too. So she's going to pop bells. She's going to have tons of AP online. Summer Jane's got a lot of range. Can he reach Rain? No, he can't. Goes for the Splash Hour in the other 2. Takes out Little Leela. And they don't have full life on their side anymore. This is going to be very, very difficult for the other team. I've seen Sosha do damage, but I'm not sure she's going to get a chance. With that haste on Summer Jaden, he goes for Splash Shower. Man, oh man, is this team just devastating. Takes out the Sosha. Rain's got Magic Reflex. I mean, if he reflexes like 4, 5, 6 hits in a row, you know, who knows? We'll see what happens. He did do reflex last game. Maybe it can happen. Let's find out. The Rotary Magic Cannon, the Limit Break, always a really cool animation from Jaden. Summer Jane's going to go too. This team, like I said, is so damn fast. He just goes with the standard auto attack. It actually doesn't kill. He's got 40 health left. Okay. The Reflex Dream is still on the table. Oh no, don't do it to him. Don't reflex him back. Rain was supposed to be the one who reflexed, not Jaden. He goes for the awesome Limit Break that does absolutely nothing except lowering the fire attack resistance. Jaden's going to auto attack him in the face. Rain's going to drop. Sandrooster's going to take it in 2 games. Man, oh man, this team is scary. And I'm pretty sure that I still have scars from last week from getting destroyed by it. Hats off to Sandrooster. Excellent team. Excellently well played. Like I said, Unhindered, man, that game 1 was so damn close. I honestly feel bad for him that he wasn't able to pick up that game win, because I think it was right there for him. Like, right there. And the last week, too, he just got barely screwed by positioning versus that Ravies. But, hey, man, that's part of this league. It's so hard to pick up wins. I feel that pain. I had a very rough loss streak in Season 1, and it's tough when you go through that, and especially like some of the teams that he's played. He has played the upper echelon of these teams. He's played against Coppola already. He's played against Machen, and he's played against this team, which is just terrifying. So hats off to both players here. We've got 4 more best of 3s for you guys to get into. Let's go ahead and jump into the second one. All right, guys, for matchup number 2, we have a juicy one. So these are 2 teams that are currently tied for 3rd place. They both have 9 points, 3 series wins, and 1 series loss. Willie Goat's only loss coming to myself, and AllSmokedUp's only loss coming to SurfTaco last week. Both of these teams want this win badly because the win really, really helps their chances on trying to make that top 4 for the playoffs. So let's go ahead and break this one down. On the left side, Willie Goats of Guild Solaris, coach of the Corpse Brigade, versus the right side, AllSmokedUp of the Guild Star Anise, coach of the Gumi Gods. For Willie Goats, he's been running an evasion strategy to a lot of success. He likes running that Knight of Ruin Stern, Delita, and Mustadio evasion angle. However, last week we did see him break out Orlando, Gafgarian, Ramza, and Delita, just like a mixed bag of those as a Final Fantasy Tactics team. And honestly, it looked pretty damn good last week. So will we see that, or will we see the evasion team? He's always got a comp like Dark Fina, Balo, Joker that he could bring out. That is something that we really haven't seen yet. So maybe that we see something like that as well. On AllSmokedUp side, he's got really strong water and really strong light. He's got the Astrius Chunak Surges team that he has ran to great success. Honestly, Chunak has just really, really impressed me to this point in the season. He's also got Sylvie Locke Surges, so he can run either combo of 190 of light or water. He could always throw in Sakura. He's got plenty of 70 cost units, which are extremely flexible in this league. Not sure what he's going to run, but I'm excited to check this match out. Let's go ahead and jump into game 1 and see what we got. All right, guys, matchup number 2 here, game number 1. I do apologize. It looks like battle sounds were not recorded in this game, so I'll throw in some random background music for you guys. But on the left side, we've got Willie Goats showing that Knight of Ruin Stern versus on the right side, AllSmokedUp's Camilo. It is well known in this league that Turnbar thinks Camilo is the worst unit in the entire game. Let's see if he lives up to that name or if he puts on a show. Let's go ahead and find out. So Willie Goat's running an evasion team. He's run this evasion team before with Delita, Knight of Ruin Stern, and Mustadio. Typically runs this Lock TMR. He'll run Illusion on Knight of Ruin Stern. From AllSmokedUp side, he goes with the unit attack resist up, reaction block rate up, a nice little AoE buff coming out from Locke. Knight of Ruin Stern, he's thinking, what is he going for? It's probably that illusion buff. It is. This has got a really nice upgrade when that Samurai subjob got upgraded. It got AoE resistance up for the user. Very nice. Safeguard Plus goes up. I believe this turn order was probably not exactly the way he wanted, but the way that positioning is on this map, it's a little tricky sometimes to get your AoE buffs online. But Camilo's going to buff. He's going to walk forward. Slime's going to go accelerate, get that agility up. Excellent support unit. And has done a lot of work for AllSmokedUp up to this point. Going to repop that Lock TMR to, again, get that agility and luck buff up. So incredibly important. If you guys are running an evasion team, Lock TMR is one of the best things that you can possibly run in the game. Knight of Ruin Stern going to go with Revitalize, get that Bells online so he has a ton of AP. Speaking of AP, Locke's got his as well, along with his re-raise, so he's got 2 lives. And speaking of 2 lives, we've got Mustadio running the Zombie Ryryu TMR. Excellent TMR, you love to see it. Dragon's Kin, an excellent single target buff now with the Dragoon subjob, or Dragoon job upgrades, excuse me. And this time the Accelerate from Slime will hit the entire team. So far, up to this point, I think both teams just setting up really, really nicely. We should have them commence into each other very, very soon. Knight of Ruin Stern should be able to hit AoE, Hazard Render, hits all 3. And honestly, not a tremendous amount of damage. Camilo, actually, I'm shocked at how well he soaked that up. I assume he probably has a lot of dark resist. We just saw Stranded from Locke. I don't think I've ever seen that in my entire life. Does he not have enough accuracy to hit Knight of Ruin Stern? That is shocking to me. I wonder if he's not running a lot of accuracy and he's just running dark resist. That being said, I failed to note the Hazard Render also drops healing power. So Slime not going to be nearly as useful as he normally is if he gets that healing off. Rising Sun, yeah, it's going to miss. I'm pretty sure this Locke has a very, very small chance to hit this Knight of Ruin Stern. They're going to struggle without guaranteed hits. I do believe... Oh my god, as Delita comes in with the re-raise remove and removes Locke from the fight. Leg shot coming out from Mustadio does so much damage to Slime. He has insane slash resistance, but such low other attack type resist. What can Camilo do? He's going to have to put in a ton of work. And again, yeah, that Hustle Dance +1 with the healing power down doesn't even do 1,000. Oh, his Bedeviling dive or whatever it's called, just barely It misses. It doesn't do anything. Delita cleans him up. This is looking very, very one-sided from Woolly Goats in game number 1. AllSmokedUp going to have to make some major adjustments for game 2 as Mighty Break takes out the slime and Woolly Goats takes game 1. So this series, like I said, tied for 3rd place right now. So this is a very important one between these two teams. They have not faced, neither one of these teams have faced the number 1 and 2 seeds going into this week of Coppola and MaechenX. So a big series for these two to try and take from each other. This could be very important when it comes down to the end of the season on who makes that top 4. But hey, I will not call AllSmokedUp out. He's got a chance to try and turn this around in game 2. Let's go ahead and see what he switches up and brings for this next one. All right, guys, game number 2 of this series. On the left side, we've got Woolly Goats showing Orlando and AllSmokedUp showing Mont. So it looks like both teams decide to switch it up. Did Woolly Goats call his switch and switch into the right team? We're going to have to find out here. So the Woolly Goats rocking that full FFT team from last week that he brought out. On the right side, AllSmokedUp rocking Montleonis, Sakura, and Camilo. Camilo not doing a lot last game. Let's see if he can switch it up and do something this game. We'll have to see. Pops that Boon of the Lion. That's the King Mont TMR. An excellent TMR if you're just looking for some generic damage reduction. Shout Plus coming out from Ramza. This is such an excellent AoE buff. It has massive range. Gets Protect on the party as well as a number of other things. Keen Blade coming out from Gafgarian. It's going to be an excellent buff because all 3 units benefit from that slash attack up. And obviously the 500 CT up is always extremely useful. Sweet Support coming out. That is Little Leela TMR on Sakura to buff the entire team's agility, get them moving faster. Immortal Spirit with the new job upgrade, nullifying a couple of those statuses and getting Courage Online for Mont. And of course, Orlando's going to go with this Crest of the Black Lion Plus. This is an excellent single target ability. Nullifies statuses as well for himself, gives him AP. And of course, Ramza's going to go with the Zombie Ryu TMR, giving himself re-raise. So again, just like last fight, kind of a slow build-up, but these units building up a ton of different buffs going into the fight. Dragonskin going to be a really nice buff here from Camilo. This is a full like offensive physical team from the other side, unless you count Ramza's Limit Break. That is a magical ability, but for the most part this team is physical damage. Protect going to be really, really nice. Divine Healing, not something you get to see very much out of Orlando. Normally does not get a 3rd buff off before the fight, but here we go. Stone Throw Mastery. This is kind of nice for this team, actually. That doesn't look like a lot, but it lowers his defense piercing rate, which is kind of nice against a tank like Mont. Might mean he does less damage. What does Gafgarian do? Shadow Blade plus 3,000. Tanked pretty nicely by the Mont. Camilo, what's he got? Armor Piercer one-shots the Gafgarian with 6,400. So, okay. Camilo showing up and doing more work than he did last time. Earthrending Pain, this is probably going to chunk 8,700. And oh my god, AllSmokedUp said, not so fast. That's my 3rd seed, not yours. And Rams is going to go for an AoE, but it's not going to be enough. This is a 3v1. He's going to have to put in a ton of work to do anything. Killer Drain Blade's going to make it a lot harder. Damn, that is some healing power up for AllSmokedUp. He actually healed for more than the attack, so he's definitely running healing power up. A nice tech for him. Light Blade coming out from Sakura. Does this do it? He does have re-raise, I believe. Yes, he does. So somebody else is going to take Sakura's kill. And Camilo probably going to show up and do it. What does Ramza do? Shimmering Blade plus? Not enough. A nice tech, again, lowering the defense piercing rate, but it's not going to do enough. Camilo's going to walk in, take another kill, and AllSmokedUp gets his revenge in game 2, so we're going to a game 3. Love to see it. I expected a good battle from these two teams. Like I said, they're tied in the standings to this point. First game was a 3-0 in Willie's favor. Second game was a 3-0 in AllSmokedUp's favor. What do we see in game 3? Do the two like winning teams come back? I expect Willie goes to probably go back to his evasion team. It seemed like that worked a lot better for him. So assuming that, I would think AllSmokedUp probably brings more accuracy than he did in game 1. Does he stick with this team, or does he just go with the first team and bring more accuracy? I'm not entirely sure, but let's go ahead and jump in game 3 and find out. Game number 3 here, guys. So we have Camilo still showing for AllSmokedUp, so bringing that unit again. And Willie Goats, it looks like, I'm guessing, is probably going back to his evasion team, since he's hovering that Knight of Ruin Stern. And he is, so it's Knight of Ruin Stern, Delita, Mustadio versus AllSmokedUp's Camilo, Locke, and Slime. So he actually went back to the same team that he brought game 1. Wondering if he expected Willie to keep the same team from game 2. I hope he brought more accuracy. That's all I'm going to say, because he could not hit anything in game 1. This is a slight change in positioning. Camilo was a step back, I believe, in game 1, if I remember correctly. Safeguard Plus coming up. Going to get that effect range up, as well as the accuracy up. Keenblade coming out. I believe this is a change up, at least in abilities, from AllSmokedUp. So even though he brought the same 3 units as the first game, it is a different setup. Locke going Boon of the Phoenix, Re-Raise, and Bells. Locke is a very, very... I mean, he can be built very evasive, which also means he can be built very accurate. Just depends on how you build them. So Slime goes Accelerate. Again, gets agility up on the whole party. Willy Goats should have another full rotation of buffs coming up here. This is looking very similar to game 1 up to this point. So what is Delita going to do? He's actually going to run backwards and get the Treasure Hunter's Fortune buff online again. That is another lock TMR use. Power Shot Piercing. Not a lot of damage at all. 1673. However, he does upgrade his missile attack resist piercing rate. Not entirely sure what kind of missile resistance that Camilo typically has. Locke's going to get his own evasion up. So is he being run dodgy? And if so, that means he's probably fairly accurate. However, I know Willy Goats has a nasty evasion team. You have to be very, very accurate to hit them. I learned that in my first week against him. Meditate coming out from Delita. And again, buffs on buffs on buffs. We are nearing the point where these teams are going to start hitting each other in the face. It should be this very next turn, I believe. Mustadio is going to hit somebody. Who is he going to hit? He's going Seal Evil, and that's on Slime, so it's going to do a lot. He procs his self-heal, so he heals up most of it back, however. Locke going to go Dispel Dagger, and he removes Mustadio from the fight. That guy is gone. It is now a 3v2 in AllSmokedUp's favor. However, this is the big hitter. Ruinstern, what can he get in an AoE? He actually is able to hit all 3 with that Hazard Render. My god. And again, Dragon's Blade misses. This guy is so dodgy. Gets the healing power down the whole team. Crusher Accessory Plus misses the lock, but it does still strip the re-raise, which is crucial. So even though it didn't hit lock, it's kind of like it did because it removed 1 of his extra lives. Hustle Dance +1 just not doing a lot with that healing power down. Locke needs to remove somebody here, either Delita or Knight of Runestern, and he misses again. Even from going behind him, still not accurate enough to hit. Bedeviling Dive does some damage, but probably not enough. I imagine with the bells online, another Hazard Render comes out. It does on all 3 units. I think that's a double kill. It is. The only one left alive is Slime, and man, oh man, it's not over yet, but this is going to be Willy Goats' game to lose. I can't imagine there's any scenario where Slime could possibly bring this back. The lead is going to go. Judgment Blade, does this take the kill? It does not, but it lands the stop on the Slime. Not that it matters. That stop didn't matter at all. I don't think he has courage. Yeah, he doesn't. The Slime is 6 feet under, and man, oh man, that was a good series. Willy Goats ends up taking it 2-1. So Willy Goats going to be sitting up with 12 points, where AllSmokedUp sitting with 10. So now, you know, putting a little distance between those two teams in terms of that 3rd, 4th, 5th, wherever they land spot. So excellent series. We've got 3 more for you guys today. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one. Okay, guys, from matchup number 3 here, we've got Pineapple Pizza, coached by Mr. Aloha of the Guild Dead Society versus the Gnostics, but coached by Coppola of the Guild Galleon. On the left side here, Mr. Aloha's got Velis, Celis, Eliza, Glacial Lawizette, and more. Barrett, Killfake, Grace, Valade, and Liarte versus Cops, Starlight Elena, Skahal, Cloud, Lucio, Raldor, Ildira, Victoria, McLeod, Lilith, and Naya. For Coppola's side, pretty straightforward. Every single game he has brought Naya, and pretty good reason for that. She was his very first overall pick, 40 cost unit. Honest to God, I think Naya does a better job as a like white mage support healer than somebody even like Yuna these days. She is so extremely good at that role, and for almost only 40 cost, I think she might be the most valuable pick of any unit that we could have in WDL. So I think that was a phenomenal first pick by him, and for somebody who's new to the league, just immediately recognizing that as a super power pick, hats off to Coppola in his draft, and we already know how good of a player he is and how well he can pilot it. So we've only seen 2 different comps come out from him to this point, but not surprising, because they're very, very good comps. We've seen the Starlight Elena Lucio Naya and Skahal Cloud Naya. He has other options that he can run, but honestly, until somebody shows that they can beat those comps, I don't know that we'll see anything different. King Delita gave him a run for his money last week, but unfortunately couldn't pick up the win. So Coppola still sitting at that perfect 4-0-0 record with 12 points. On the left side for Mr. Aloha, what are we going to see from him? So Velas has a guaranteed hit with his limit break. I think Eliza can be built fairly accurate. I don't know, like, is Coppola going to go with the evasion side with the light? I mean, it's not necessarily a full evasion team. Lucio doesn't have to be. Or does he just bring lightning? I mean, honestly, from Pineapple Pizza's side, he probably does bring lightning into him because Pineapple Pizza really doesn't have that many answers. He's got Kilfei as an earth unit to hopefully scare him away a little bit, but that is his only earth unit. And I gotta tell you, Skull is going to nuke Kilfei regardless of the elemental disadvantage. That Thundaga Disposer is no joke. So does he bring something like Celis to try and absorb Skull's hits? Like, does try and basically nullify Skull? I don't know. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what he brings. Let's go ahead and jump into this first game and see what they brought. All right, guys, game number 1 between Coppola and Mr. Aloha loading in here. We didn't have the pregame screen, but here we have it with the units here. Coppola going with the Skull, Cloud, Naya team, and Mr. Aloha going with Glaciella, Barrett, and Grace. So Glaciella going to pop Bells turn 1. He's going to be up against it against this Lightning team with a very much elemental disadvantage. I think this is probably one of his tougher matchups in the season. Not only is Coppola a great player, but he has an elemental advantage on his team. Zombie re-raise going off on Skull, going to make him so incredibly difficult to kill. Mind Enhancer coming up, Spirit up. So interesting. Skull has some Spirit piercing rate just due to like vision cards and stuff like that. He doesn't have an insane amount, but it probably not going to matter. He's probably just going to nuke the heck out of anybody he hits if he is able to. Steelskin Plus comes out from Barrett. Glaciella with her bells online. She goes War Maiden's Pride, an excellent buff. This will at least mitigate some of the damage that Cloud can do, but I think Skull will probably still hit really hard. He's going to go for the limit break. How much does this do? Does this one-shot her? I don't imagine it does. She's pretty bulky. Yeah, 4,000 damage. Honestly, pretty well soaked up, and I think she's probably got some crit evade because that limit break often crits, and it did not. Thundaga Disposer comes out. Yeah, damage caps. Glaciella Barrett is done in one hit. This is what I'm talking about, man. Skull is so hard to deal with, especially for Mr. Aloha's team. He's going to have to run something different, I think. It's just so incredibly hard for him to resist that damage. Barrett comes up, but what can he do? This is going to be so incredibly difficult for him. Cloud only has 12 AP, so he probably can't do anything. He goes for Keen Blade. This is going to make Skull go even faster. Probably just going to remove Barrett again from the face of the earth. Yep, here comes another Thundaga. Damage caps him. It is so hard to deal with Skull's damage. I was a big proponent of Skull long before he became insanely broken, because he did this kind of damage before, but then they made him even better with like a ton of longevity for life. Like, it used to be kind of balanced because he would die in one hit, but now you kind of need to kill him a lot of times. Man, oh man, this is unfortunately very one-sided. I hope Mr. Aloha has an answer for game 2. Grace, I'm sorry, girl, but I think your time here is over. Cloud's going to head and walk in and finish the game. A perfect 3-0. I honestly think every unit was at full health at the end of the fight. Like I said, Coppola's team is just so damn scary. Mr. Aloha, what do you have for game number 2? I do believe he has an Earth unit on his team, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I don't know if he has an Earth unit on his team. Let's go ahead and check out game number 2 and see what you got. All right, guys, game number 2 here between Coppola and Mr. Aloha. What do they decide to bring out? So Mr. Aloha still bringing that Glaciella, but brings Eliza this time. I do think Eliza is going to be much better than Barrett. At least she can hit from very far away and potentially whittle down these units. You pretty much have to 2-shot Skull no matter what. And when he has this zombie TMR, it's a 3-shot. You have to be able to hit him 3 times in a row, which is going to be very tricky. I probably would have tried something like Kilfei instead of Glaciella. That being said, I don't know, she goes in and only does like 1900. She gets baited out before she can buff. I think this is going to be another uphill climb. Eliza has a ton of damage, though. I think Eliza's going to have to hit an AoE to kill Naya and then hit Skull again in the AoE. I think that's the only way that he's going to be able to pull this off. So can he do this? He does have Liarte in the back. I actually did not realize this at first. So she has more range. Shadow Devour, okay. I actually don't mind this from Mr. Aloha then. With the double missile, that's probably the way to go, to be honest. Ascension comes out. This shouldn't kill, I don't think. I think she took some damage already, right? It crit this time, and as you can see, that crit damage made a big difference from last time. It's not going to matter. Skull should take her out this turn anyway. Oh no, who is he going for? Is he going for Liarte? He is. This might not be so bad for Mr. Aloha, actually. Glaciella should be able to get another attack, but I think she's out of AP. I don't think she got the buff right at the beginning. The standard auto attack comes out from Eliza, drops Skahal for the first time. Glaciella's out of AP. I don't think she can reach Skahal, and she needs to reach Skahal here. She can't. She goes for Cloud. That's going to be massive. Naya's going to be able to walk up and get this heal off. It would have been much better if she could reach, because then it would have been a full life instead. This is going to be tricky. She's going to go for the heal. It also gives CT up. This team is so hard to deal with. So Cloud's going to go next. Does he have AP to take her out? No, he doesn't. So it's going to take both of these attacks. But to this point, like, Skahal has his Courage online, and he can actually reach Eliza, it looks like. He's just going to remove her in one hit. There's no way she lives this. Yeah, 10,748. She drops. Again, looking like another clean 3-0 for Coppola. What is Naya going to do? She says, sweet support. I'll give one of you guys the kill. Glaciella. I'm sorry, honey. Maybe you could take out Naya? Nope. Debilitating counter comes out from Skahal. He doesn't even give her the courtesy of doing damage before he kills her. My God, man. This team is just so damn scary. Hats off to Coppola, and now he is sitting at a perfect 5-0, 15 points. Mr. Aloha, unfortunately, does not pick up the win. However, he will be early in the supplemental draft, which we have after this week, and I know how badly that he wants Oron, and hopefully he gets his boy. Hopefully he can represent in the last 4 weeks with him. I know how desperately he wanted him in the original draft, so I'm excited for him that hopefully he gets him. Hopefully nobody ahead of him takes him out from under him, but that being said, GG's to both of these players. We've still got a couple more series for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump into those. All right, guys, of our 5 matches, this is matchup number 4. On the right side, we have my team. I am of the Guild Thunder Gods, coach of the Demon Detectives, versus the one and only SurfTaco, our grand champion of Season 1 of Guild Dead Society, coach of the Superrenes, and man, oh man, has she been super for him. To this point, he has brought her to 3 different games. She has 9 kills and 0 deaths. So she has taken every single kill in every game that she has been in, and she has not died. That being said, will she come out? I would say no, because I have some lightning threats on my side with the bar on lightning. I think that's probably going to scare him off of it. But let's go ahead and take a look at the full rosters before I dive into what my thought process was in this matchup. So we've got SurfTaco's Perrine, Shadowlynx on Ice, Lucia Halloween, Elsorel Summer, Aerith, Frederica Halloween, Whisper, Elshra, Ramada, and Little Leela. And on my side, of course, we've got Little Leela the Bold, Ibarra, Lightning, Garvel, Yuna, Moraga, Kane, Shadowlynx, Titus, and Severo. Looking at this matchup, and just to go full transparency of what I expected from this team, the first team that I expected to see was Halloween Lucia, Aerith, and Little Leela. And the reason I said this was because I thought Halloween Lucia with her like physical damage shield could be very effective into my team. It can be very, very good against Little Leela, Kane, Moraga, Titus, Shadowlynx. Like, there's so many units that physical shield is good against, and honestly it's good against Lightning also, Lightning the unit, unless she can use her Barrier Breaker skill, which is only 3 range. So she really does have to get into range to get that full value. Even if she's in the background, you know, firing off missile attacks, that's not going to do a whole lot to her health shield. So I kind of thought that that would be an answer. The other option that I thought he could go was something like Frederica Halloween. However, I wasn't sure if he would go that full route because I didn't think he would expect me to go double lightning right out of the gate. I thought I would probably scare him away from running his water units. So the way I saw it was like Halloween Lucia, probably likeliest, number 1, Frederica Halloween 2, Shadowlynx on Ice 3, and like the most likely big units that I would see. I also thought I would see Little Leela because Lucia Halloween, notoriously weak to magic, Little Leela can capitalize on that because she has an AoE like silence. It's very likely to hit the silence. It is a 45% chance to hit. And if you guys don't know how those calculations work, that does not mean a 45% chance of the silence actually happening. It is much, much higher than that. There's different calculations that go into it. Go watch one of Ready Player Will's videos or something like that if you want to know the actual calculations on how that works. But just know, especially against a 97 faith unit, it is damn high on chance of that happening. So you have to build silence resist into that. So my strategy going into game 1, I originally was going to do a full magic comp before I remembered that he had Little Lila with his silence. I remembered that about 8 minutes before our match. So match number one, or game number one, excuse me, I switched up my comp 8 minutes before we played. I switched out Ibarra for Little Lila the Bold because I was like, I need a physical damage dealer. I can't just have my whole team get silenced and lose. So I decided to go with Little Lila the Bold, Lightning, and Severo as my team. And I know that seems weird because of Lucia's physical health shield, but again, this was like an 8 minutes before match adjustment. In my head, I thought full magic was the way to go. I ran a test versus Turambar, and he basically 1v3'd me with the 40 cost Little Lila because of all the silence. So we'll see how it works out for me in game one. But this is a comp that I made 8 minutes before the game. So if I win, I'm very, very happy with it. If I lose, I probably look stupid and I probably should have taken more time to test comps before the match. But hey, what are you going to do? Let's go ahead and take a look at game one and see how it panned out. All right, guys, game number one. Like I said, I broke down what team I was bringing. Literally the Bold, Lightning, and Severo. And on the right side, we have SurfTaco showing that Halloween Lucia. So I expected that Aerith and Little Lila to come out. What is the team that we see? It's exactly that. So it's exactly what I expected. I did run a test versus Turambar running this exact same team, and it worked very well for me. Let's see if it works out as well for me in this one. So Protective Familiar coming out from Aerith. So she gets that magic barrier amongst the whole team. Spell of Fortification, bringing that area attack resist up, defense up, and also getting her that health shield. I go with the Relentless Assault, trying to get the agility up on the party and also accuracy up. The accuracy doesn't really matter, but the agility is nice. Slash attack resist piercing rate on both units. So now Lightning has a very, very high slash attack resist piercing rate at this moment. And a Little Lila obviously getting that self-heal online for herself too. Severo, I am running the bow tie strategy. So he's only got 2 movement, and he should bring the units over to him with hate. I'm hoping that he gets his courage online, which means they have to attack him multiple times to kill him, and hopefully just buying enough time for my other two units to clean them up. Little Lila's going to go Pure Hearts Never Die with Courage. I don't like how far forward she runs here, though, because I'm worried about Halloween Lucia nuking her, and she's going to do just that. She's going to walk forward. She goes Arcane Assimilation, goes with the Limit Break, and I'm worried about how much damage this is going to do. 6,700 is a lot, especially considering the follow-up attack brings her all the way to Courage. She heals back up, but that really isn't going to matter if Halloween Lucia hits her again. Severo's going to get the haste and Courage online, but now I'm looking at the turn order and I'm going, oh crap. That haste from Lucia is so damn good that she's actually going to lap Little Lila the Bold. This is not looking good for me because she should be able to get rid of her here. She goes for Unhappy Ending, 7,200 damage, removes her, and now it's a 2v3 against me, and Re-Raise comes out. This is a massive uphill climb for me. I'm hoping to get the barrier break off, but crucially, Lightning can only get 4 spaces away instead of 3. She goes for Scourge, lands the slow, which is nice, removes the haste. But what this is going to mean is that Aerith is just going to go for haste again. She's just going to re-haste her, which actually gets rid of slow. I didn't know how this mechanic worked before the fight, but now I do. And I'm saying that's not good. Lightning, you need to remove her like in 1 hit right now. So what does she do? She actually goes to the side, Life Siphon 2. She gets rid of Little Lila, so she gets a kill, but that's not who I'm looking for. I'm looking to get rid of one of the other 2 units, if possible. And I'm saying, okay, you need to live this damage from Halloween Lucia. She goes as Curses Come in 3s. That Vision Card ability with the Arcane Shot doing a ton of damage. Breaks her barrier with that triple hit, but now Flare, hopefully, coming from Severo. This should do a good amount of damage. Severo was no joke. 7635 on a crit. My 30 cost unit doing a ton of damage here, which I'm excited about. But Aerith goes for the Limit Break, going to heal her to full, nullifying how much that flare did. I needed a little more damage to proc that second life from her, and I don't get it. So she is full health. What does she do? She goes for the standard attack on Lightning, and I'm thinking, man, oh man, Severo's good for 30 cost, but I don't think he can 1v2. He actually loses his haste, goes for the flare again. How much does it do? Does not crit this time, but still did 6,800, which I'm very happy with. Guard haste on herself for Aerith, so I'm thinking, well, if I get a Magic Reflex, this isn't necessarily over. Unhappy Ending comes out. Do not get the Magic Reflex, but he does have Courage. He should be able to Jamming Thrust to get this kill, is what I'm thinking in my head. Does Aerith be able to get into range to heal? She cannot. So here, he goes for it. He goes for Jamming Thrust, procs the Re-Raise. I'm thinking, I need a Magic Reflex here. I need to kill Halloween Lucia and somehow kill Aerith. The odds are very, very slim here. I'm thinking there's at least maybe a chance. Aerith still can't get in range to heal. Does Magic Reflex happen? It does not. She gets the auto attack off, kills my Severo, and I end up losing game 1. So a little recap from this game, what I'm thinking after game 1. Like I said, my initial plan going into SurfTaco was that I was going to bring full magic. My thought was that I was almost certain that he was going to bring Halloween Lucia because I thought that truly was the best unit that he could bring as an answer to my team, whether it be my dark units or my lightning units. I thought that was like the best all-around coverage unit that he could bring to do well into my squad. So my original thought was I would bring full magic because magic is very good into her. But little Leela is so damn good with that silence. And like I said, I realized this like 10 minutes before the match because I tested versus Turnbar and got absolutely smoked because of her silence. So I thought, okay, I'm going to have to bring some physical regardless. I'll bring lightning because lightning has a barrier break. And if I can break her HP barrier, then it won't really matter. I'll still be able to chain her down. But as you can see, the positioning in this fight really, really got me. Even though Severo had the bow tie, the height range difference was massive because Halloween Lucia couldn't reach him and it actually went for lightning instead. Little Leela the Bold getting out a little too far, got her in harm's way, so she didn't do anything because of the haste on Halloween Lucia. And obviously, lightning being one space away from getting that barrier break, there were so many small things that I thought could have went better for me and unfortunately just didn't go that way. So going into game 2, I thought, what can I do? And I said, I'm going to bring double mage. I'm going to go Severo, I'm going to go Ibarra, and I'm going to go Lightning. I don't think he's going to go with Halloween Fred. I think he's still going to stick with the Halloween Lucia. But in order to counter Little Leela, I'm going to build up Esper Resonance with some Espers that give Silencer Resist. And let me tell you, there's not many of them, but there are 2 MR Espers that give Silence Resist. It is Mind Flayer and the Winter Moogle Esper. So basically built up Resonance with Severo and Ibarra to try and counter that. And you also use some equipment to get Silence Res up. So basically going to this next fight, I have 45 Silence Res with Severo and 35 with Ibarra. So I thought, hey, I will take my chances. I'll build up a lot and hope to God that I don't get silenced from Little Leela, and I'll bring double mages. Hopefully he brings this same squad is my thought process. Let's go ahead and jump into game 2 and see if that's what happened. All right, guys, game number 2. So as you can see from the attack and magic stat, SurfTaco was bringing the exact same team. This is what I was hoping for. This was the team that I thought could beat this team that he brought. So I have Severo, I've got Ibarra, I've got Lightning. I've got my Lightning comp plus the 30 cost mage. I'm still running Severo off to the side with the bow tie to try and draw hate and aggro away from my 2 carries. And I'm hoping that I don't get silenced. I've built a good amount of silence resist, so I'm hoping I don't get silenced by anything. So Relentless Assault coming out from Lightning, so the same buff rotation as last time. Changed the movement just a little bit, so Lightning is going backwards actually. Spell of Fortification coming out from Halloween Lucia, so the same buff rotation and turn order coming out from SurfTaco. Worked well for him last time, why change it? Fall of Night coming out from Ibarra, so she's got magic attack resist piercing rate up, along with a couple of different damage modifiers that adds to her attacks. Keen Blade coming out from Little Leela, so slash attack up and the CT up. This got me a little concerned because my thought process was I didn't want Little Leela to get too far out because I didn't want her to take out Severo before my other 2 units could close in. That being said, with the bow tie and only 2 movement, I'm feeling decent. He gets his level 25 skill off, which is crucial. She gets ready to pursue 2 off, gets that pursuit buff. If you haven't played Lightning before, you need to get that buff off her. She is just not the same level of unit. Aerith, what is she going to do in this moment? She's going to channel a spell. Ibarra's going to go Grace of Eternal Friendship. Black Rose Helena TMR, get that agility up. It was already up because of Lightning, but she gets a barrier, which I want. If I have a barrier on her, Halloween Lucia will likely use the Vision Card move instead of like the Toad move or the Limit Break, which is exactly what I want her to do. So Re-Raise comes out on a Halloween Lucia, and this setup is very, very similar to the last one for SurfTaco. And Lightning, finally on her 3rd turn, just goes for target as her buff. I was running bells on her, but I don't want her to pop bells because it'll literally be like first in her priority. So I'm running that for the agility and accuracy. And here, Severo actually gets his 2nd buff off. This is very rare to happen for Severo, but he gets magic attack resist piercing rate off. Garvel's TMR, which I'm excited about. Ibarra, out of buffs. She's just going to walk forward. And now, finally, the battle should kind of start to commence. So Little Leela's going to walk forward. I actually get a magic reflex on Severo. This is the silence. Again, Severo had 45% silence resist, so I don't know if that's technically nullified silence, but it's damn close. It's not a very high chance of happening. Life Siphon 2 comes out, and this time, Little Leela tanks it. She does not die. Last time, Lightning killed her in 1 hit. Certainly not this time. So adjustments coming out from SurfTaco's side. Ibarra's going to walk up. She goes for Counterman Slash, interestingly enough. Apparently couldn't hit Wailing Storm because I assume that would have done more. But she takes out Little Leela, does a little chip on Halloween Lucia. She goes for Sudden End, AoE damage. Several Courage procced, just barely. I am happy with how much damage Ibarra took there. But Several going to go for the Flare. I'm excited. Get rid of some of that magic barrier if it's still left over from Aerith. Not as much damage as last time, but 5k, I will take it. Aerith going to pop the limit break. So now I'm thinking, okay, Lightning needs to walk in. She needs to get this barrier break online, or else she's not going to do anything. So what's going to happen? Can she reach? She can't. She goes for Life Siphon 2. It does no damage. I'm starting to get a little nervous in this moment. So I need Ibarra to do a lot of work. She actually goes for Aerith, Malevolent Lightning. So I'm thinking, this has to one-shot. If this doesn't one-shot, I am probably going to lose this game. Does 73-28. Look at the health bar. It is enough. She drops. So now Halloween Lucia is in a 1v3. She's a very strong unit, but I'm feeling better about it up to this point. She's going to walk forward because of Severo standing up there, not able to get an AoE on the team, which I'm happy about. That haste coming in clutch, though, the speed is just so good. She laps. She goes for Curses Comes in threes, removes the barrier off of Ibarra, but I'm still feeling good about this 2v1. Lightning should be able to do Barrier Buster finally. She does 5,000 damage, and now with that health shield gone, I think this is my game to lose. So Ibarra gonna walk over here, Hairpin Dart, proc the re-raise, and unless she can somehow one-shot the team with an AoE, which I think is very unlikely, we should go ahead and win this game too. Halloween Lucia going to go next. Should go for an AoE here, which she does. Actually gets the Magic Reflex from Ibarra. This didn't matter. This Magic Reflex didn't matter. It only mattered for the kill sheet because Halloween Lucia probably would have had one extra kill, but Lightning goes up and auto-attacks, picks up the kill, and I end up winning game 2. So some thoughts from this game. The Magic Reflex on Severo was lucky, but I don't think it was insanely lucky. I don't think there's any way that Silencing Spell one-shots Severo. Like, I really don't think it does that much. Any test I ran certainly didn't one-shot Severo. It was just the question of whether the silence happens. And again, it's a 45% chance silence, 45% resist on Severo. Actually, I don't remember if that's technically 100% nullify, but the chances of the silence happening are very low. So I don't think it's as lucky as it seems, as the next hit on Severo ended up bringing him to courage right away. This reflex, well, like I said, at the end didn't matter, but regardless, it's RNG either way. There's so much RNG in this game. Everything like crit rates and all that kind of stuff is so much. But I'm happy to bring this to a game 3. Last week, after getting absolutely smoked by Sandrooster, I really didn't want to lose 2-0 after losing game 1 to SurfTaco. So I was happy to bring it to a game 3. And I'm thinking, going into the last one, I'm probably just going to bring the same team. I realize that there's also always a chance that he brings something different, like an Earth unit or just something else. But I really didn't know if he had an answer to this team. That was my thought process going into it. I figured he probably switches it, but I'm going with this. I'm not going to change it because I think it just gives me my best chance. So let's go ahead and hop into game 3 and see what happens. All right, guys, the final game of our series. So he is hovering Whisper. So he very clearly switched it up, which I was pretty nervous about going into this game, to be honest, because I was hoping to see that Halloween Lucia team. But like I said, I'm bringing the same team, and I see it is Halloween Lucia and Elshra, and I'm immediately thinking, ruh-roh, this could be like a haste quicken strategy with Halloween Lucia. If this is well executed, she could destroy my team, and I got a little nervous because this was not something that I thought about potentially coming out. So the physical health shield comes online for Lucia. Same buff rotation as last time for me. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I did make one small change with Lightning's TMR, which you will see later in this fight. But Man-Eater comes out from Ibarra, the Fall of Night buff. And I'm thinking this is probably a haste, which it is. Guard haste onto the Whisper, which makes me feel a little better. Because going into this, I'm thinking haste quicken onto Halloween Lucia. But because Whisper has hate, she actually just goes for Whisper. And Whisper is in slot 1. So she's going to haste and quicken her rather than haste both teammates. So Lightning going to go, get that Pursuit buff online. And because of the positioning, I'm excited because I think Lightning should get her 3rd buff off here, which I actually switched to the Zombie Re-Raise TMR. I thought just giving her 1 extra life could always be advantageous. Ibarra still got the same TMR as last time, Grace of Eternal Friendship. And Severo should be finishing his channel. So this quicken, I'm thinking, oh, no big deal. But I'm watching this movement and I'm realizing I don't love this. For one, this barrier goes on to Whisper, which isn't great. That being said, Severo is going to be in range to be able to hit a water gun on the other team. I really wanted him to get his magic attack resist piercing rate buff off because I'm assuming that Whisper probably has nullify magic or something close. And Severo has like 10 magic resist pen with this build. So going into this, I'm thinking he needs to get that second buff off here. He's going to do very little. Sudden End comes out. Severo has already popped to his courage. And I don't love this. So Slate Wiper going to come out from Ibarra. So decent damage at least onto the Halloween Lucia. Not a ton onto Whisper. So Severo is going to go for what I assume is an AoE, which will drop the Bravery on Whisper, which is kind of nice. But look at the damage here. Only 55 to the Whisper. Thankfully did 2,000 to Halloween Lucia, so at least a chunk to her. But Severo's going to drop, and even though that's only my 30 cost unit, he did do a lot of damage in the other fights, so I'm a little worried. But Lightning's going to go Limit Break. Army of 1. Let's count up the crits. So far, 3 of 3, and she's going to go Pursuit buff. 4 of 4. She critted 4 times in a row. I don't think she needed all 4 crits, but she destroys the Whisper tank. And now all of a sudden, I'm feeling much better about this. So I felt like Ibarra kind of carried the last game. To this point, Lightning did way more work. Hairpin Dart takes out the Halloween Lucia. No re-raise online, and I'm thinking, heck yes, I should be able to win this game 3. So Meteor Plus comes out from Elshra. This shouldn't do a ton of damage. Only does 2563. Lightning's going to walk towards Ibarra, get that AoE buff off, and it should just be a matter of time before I pick up this game 3 win. So Ibarra's going to walk forward, go for the Magic Buster. It'll take out Elshra, and I end up winning the series. I'm not going to lie, this felt really, really good. I was joking around with Sandrooster. He's a really, really awesome guy. I had a really good time voice chatting with him and playing with him this week. But having lost the last 3 weeks, even though the sets against Coppola and MaechenX, I did take a game. So I wasn't like winless the last 3 weeks, but I didn't win the series in the last 3. And I do think all of those 3 opponents are very, very tough, but I really needed to get on the win column here. SurfTaco walked into the week with 7 points, and I walked in with 5. So the fact that he won a game and I won the series, we were actually both tied with 8 points. So it's incredibly close now that this happened. If he won this series, I would have felt really bad about my standing, because if he was at like 10 and I was at 5 or 6 with him beating me head to head, would have felt pretty bad. So I feel like I kept myself in the thick of things for the playoff push. So I'm excited for this series win. But yeah, GG's to SurfTaco. He's an awesome opponent, awesome guy. Yeah. Anyway, super happy about this. 4 series down for this week. We've got one more to show you guys. Let's go hop into that last one. All right, guys, for our final matchup of the Rundall Division Week 5, on the left side, we've got King Delita of the guild Hokutin, coach of the Black Sheep Knights, versus MaechenX of the guild Lucis, coach of the Shoopufs Sweetheart. And now, in all honesty, these two teams are pretty far apart in the standings. I'll be honest. That being said, King Delita put on a fantastic showcase last week against Coppola. He didn't end up picking up the series win, but he took a game off him, which not many teams have been able to do up to this point, and he put in some work with Vadim. I thought Vadim was a completely useless unit until I watched that video, and my god, he did some work. He like hard carried that match. So props to King Delita for at least putting up a fight against Coppola. I know it's not easy to do, but sitting there with 2 points, if he could somehow win this series, that would really, really help out his case in trying to make that .4. We'll see if he can pull it off. But his team currently is Glaciella Flagbearer, Mont King of Leonis, Terra, Agrius, Farouche, Mashri Winter, Fina, Helena, Adelard, and Vadim, versus, of course, MaechenX's Alaya, Oberon, Snow, Zoma, Sweetheart Ildira, Luel, Miranda, Curry, Rabis, and Uni. Now, on King Delita's side, he has really tried to put in work with that Glaciella Flagbearer. Definitely his most used unit up to this point, and for good reason. She is a phenomenal unit. Last week, we did see him try and work in that Terra. We saw a bit of Mashri Winter, and obviously, like I said, the Vadim putting in a ton of work. On MaechenX's side, he's got some really strong ice units, so maybe from King Delita's side, we see some of that fire tech come out. We'll see. But on MaechenX's side, Alaya, 4-0 up to this point, has not lost a single game. Zelma has been incredibly impressive. 6-1, 9-4, 11 KDA. With that AoE, like, Bravery down buff is so damn good against physical units. That unit, I kind of slept on. He's very, very strong. He was the last pick of MaechenX's draft, and honestly, might be the MVP of his team to this point. I'm curious to see what these two teams are going to bring out. Let's go ahead and just jump into game 1 and see what they brought. All right, guys, game number 1 here between MaechenX and King Delita. MaechenX hovering that Uni, King Delita hovering Flagbearer Glaciella, with some pretty high stat numbers on both sides here. So What are the teams that are going to come out here? Normally when Uni comes out, I expect something like Aloha from MaechenX, which it is. So a bit interesting. It's actually Miranda, not something like Zoma. So MaechenX running Miranda, Uni, and Aloha, excuse me. King Delita going with his team from, I believe, game 3 of his series versus Cop, running the Glaciella, Flagbearer, excuse me, I almost said Regalia, Winter Macherie, and Adelard. I know Sandrooster mentioned it last week, but something where you can take advantage of that Dark Tetrasilphid card. I'm having a tough time speaking in this match, let me tell you. Sweet Sport comes out from Adelard, getting that agility buff on the team. Little Lil the Bold's TMR. Alaya, what buff is she going to go with? March of the Dragon Stag Princess, get that ice attack up. A bunch of other buffs as well. And what is Uni going to do? Is he going to pop bells or something? Can he reach people? He has insane range. He can. He goes for arrow fall 4360. My god. I did not expect that, but I guess that is an elemental advantage. Fast cast. Actually going to get that haste up onto Uni. I wonder if he'll be fast enough to get another one off. Because he does not have very many AP problems. He can oftentimes arrow fall twice without having to pop bells or anything. So what did Adelard have? This is probably a fast cast himself, I would think. Unless he's going for a heal. Dragon Scale coming out from Winter Monster. Get the Protect up as well as a bunch of other things. Critical hit, reaction block rate, Curaga. So it's not the fast cast. Heals Macherie to full. This might actually be better for King Delita as MaechenX actually arrow falls the backline here. So interesting. And honestly, I said that not the fast cast. It wouldn't have mattered because Uni actually nullifies haste anyway. So the Immortal Spirit coming on to Miranda. I expect Alaya to deal some damage here to Winter Macherie. I believe she can reach. She can. Barrage, only 2058. Not bad. Not bad at all. King Delita's team looked incredibly impressive last week. Can he somehow pull off an upset this week? We'll have to see. Dispelling Spear Flight, 4,500 removes the haste from Uni. We'll have to see how that affects the turn order. And another Curaga coming up from Adelard. So not typically like a support unit. Normally a jamming thrust god, but the heal coming out, doing some nice work. And Winter Macherie is going to pick up the kill against Uni. So now a 3v2. Not the major threat from MaechenX's side, but a kill nonetheless. Wolf Trail coming out. Move up, AP cost rate down. I don't see this a ton. What does Miranda have? Should have a Dispelling Thrust, I believe it's called. Yep, versus Macherie. 7671 does not one-shot her. I'm actually kind of surprised. Miranda does a lot of damage, but Macherie soaked that. And Curata on himself. So now it's getting to the point where Adelard is at kind of an awkward state, supporting himself in the backline. The heals were nice to start. The reflex coming out from Winter Macherie, though, on the Armor Borer removes Protect, but the reflex is kind of massive because we look at the turn order and Macherie Winter is going next. That Armor Borer probably would have killed, I assume. Yeah, 21-21, that would have killed for sure. What is she going to go for? Now she goes for the Limit Break. That reflex might prove to be massive. Holy Knight's Gift. Never get to see this animation. It's kind of cool. That is a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage to Alaya. Glaciella probably picks up this kill here. She's sitting at 4806 health. She goes for Triple Cross. Almost procs the Courage from Miranda. Actually, it removes Courage anyway. So she's sitting only at 626 damage. Does she go for Waterga, or does she go for the Jamming Thrust or Dispelling Thrust? I assume she goes for an AoE, right? Hopefully cast time does not go against her. No, she goes for Dispelling Thrust. So she just takes out the Winter Macherie. But I don't know how Miranda's possibly going to win this. I don't think there's any way. King Delita's probably going to take this game 1 victory. What does Glaciella have? She's got the standard auto attack. That'll take her out. And a game 1 win for King Delita. He managed to do it against Coppola last week, and he's doing it again against MaechenX. So the top 2 teams in our league he's taken at least 1 game off of. I'm sure he's hoping to take another game, unlike last week where he lost games 2 and game 3. But we'll see what he has for him. I expect some sort of switch up from MaechenX. He's got a lot of different team comps that he can bring. Does he bring something out like Zoma that drops Bravery? There was double physical on this team here. From King Delita. I think Zoma is a very good answer into a lot of physical teams because of that reason. We'll see if he brings it out, what he switches up to. Let's go ahead and check out the next game. All right, guys, game number 2. It's exactly like I said. He's right there on the front screen. Zoma from MaechenX. I think this is a really good answer for him, even though it may seem silly because it's an elemental disadvantage versus fire. Bravery down, like AoE buff on the whole party, just being able to neutralize that is such a massive damage decrease. That's something that people sleep on. One of the reasons why I liked Severo as a 30 cost unit, at range being able to drop Bravery by 40 essentially drops their physical damage by roughly like 33%. So it's actually a pretty massive damage reduction, something that gets a little slept on. Oblivion's Presence comes out. That is that AoE buff that I'm talking about, and also gives himself a nice little shield as well. Boon of the Lion comes out from Miranda, getting that area attack resist up. And I think I like this setup a lot more from MaechenX personally. Keenblade coming out from Winter Mashri, getting that CT up, slash attack damage. And now with Uni off the table, though, Adelard should be able to get his haste up, which is a difference maker. I will say, Uni being able to nullify that haste was pretty valuable. I assume that's what this ability is. And that was really awkward. He was charging the spell, and then his... Am I crazy? I thought he was charging the spell, and then he came back up again and then moved. That is a really awkward timing, but it comes out nonetheless. Gets Glaciella hasted up. Hour of Despair coming out from Zoma. One of the coolest units in the game. I do love it every time that MaechenX brings Zoma. Other than when he brought it against me and took me out. I didn't appreciate that, but every other time I love it. Sharpshoot comes out from Winter Mashri. About 1,300 damage on a Ravies. We saw Ravies put on an absolute show last week for Machen, and she continues to be a beast of a tank. Fast cast coming out from Miranda, so the Red Mage Haste really putting in work for both sides here. Triple Cross removes the Courage, crucially, on Ravies, so that is a nice tech. Not a ton of damage, though. Like, MaechenX's Ravies is just so damn tanky. What does this do, though? Shadow Flare, I imagine this does a decent amount. She is not as tanky versus magic as physical. Yeah, as you can see, it drops the area resist. 4,200 damage. One more hit will probably kill Ravies, I assume. Here comes the Limit Break from Zoma, though. What has he got? Glacial Doom. Such a sick Limit Break animation. It looks like a Fire, Dark, and Ice element Limit Break all in one. How much damage does this do? 7,700. Did that one-shot Adelard? Yes, it did. Even with the elemental disadvantage, takes out the MR caster. What does Ravies here have? Blade Bash? The Bravery bonus down from Zoma, but crucially does not land the stun. I think if that stun lands, it's probably over for King Delita, but this is definitely not over now. Spelling Spearflight comes out, gets rid of Ravies, and now is 2v2. So next up is Winter Mashri. This is probably going to do a lot of damage to Zoma, I assume. Although I believe he does have a physical barrier online, so maybe not. We'll have to find out. Drain Dive, 6,300. I think he's... Maybe Glaciella broke it, but I don't think she did. I think that barrier was online. I think that guy would have just got smoked in one hit, if not. But here comes a Limit Break from Glaciella. It looks awesome. Elemental Chain continuation. That self-heal from Zoma keeping him alive. If not for that, he would have been gone. Although I think he does have re-raise on him. I don't remember. Resistance Break came out from Miranda. A nice Red Mage job upgrade. Another one. That becoming magic damage instead of physical is such a huge upgrade. Crack +1 does damage and gets the Frostbite on Glaciella. That is massive because she's sitting here at 0 AP. 1839 damage. That takes him out. So he does not have re-raise online. I was mistaken by that. But this is a 1v1. And honestly, I favor Miranda here because Glaciella does not have AP. Resistance Break comes out, the chain, and removes re-raise. I think she actually did get Zombie TMR off. Man, Glaciella's really good. She has Reflex on the table, but unless she can get AP, she's going to have to hit at least a couple more times. Dispelling Thrust, yeah, that's going to take her out. And MaechenX picks up the Game 2 win. So maybe not super surprising because MaechenX's team is really, really good. That Frostbite, massive though. Just so damn good. And like I said, that Zoma is just such a good answer into physical teams. He has Frostbite. He has Bravery down. He has a physical shield. Like, he doesn't always think, like, it doesn't always come off that way, but an excellent option in a physical team. So what happens in game 3? Does King Delita switch up his team? Because I expect MaechenX to probably bring something similar to this game. Does he switch it up or does he bring the same comp? We've got our final game of the entire week. Thankfully, another game 3 or a 3-game series. We've had a bunch of them, which has been really great. So let's go ahead and jump into it and see what happens. Final game of the day of week 5. This is the final game of the Rundall division before the supplemental draft. So after this, we'll take a look at the standings and see what the pick order is. It'll be very interesting. But on the left side, we've got MaechenX with Zoma versus right side King Delita. King Delita fighting to stay in that playoff hunt, and MaechenX fighting to stay up at the top of the standings with Coppola, who's already sitting at 15 points, needs this game win to keep tied with him. And King Delita, like I said, really needs this game to stay in the thick of it. So Glaciella going to go with an AoE buff. Zoma, what is he going to do? I imagine this is the Bravery down move. And looking at these teams, neither team switched it up. So I'm a little surprised from King Delita, as he did lose game 2, but maybe he's going to go with some different buffs amongst his team. We'll have to see. Guardians fighting Spirit. Interesting. Spirit up. I do not think we saw this last game. That is definitely a switch up. That is Rain's TMR. Not something you see very often. I haven't seen that in a long time. A cool tech from King Delita. Winter Mashri, again, going for Keenblade. So that was the same. I do apologize if the Rain TMR came out last time, but I don't remember that happening. Keenblade, I know happened for sure. Adelard, what do you got? Probably a fast cast. I imagine into a zombie transformation. Yes, it is. It is the re-raise. And Zoma, what do you got in the bag? Goes for zombie transformation himself, so he does have re-raise online. And Miranda, I imagine, probably another fast cast. So very similar to the last game. Obviously different positioning the last time. Sharpshoot comes out, 1492. Does get a little bit of AP back, though, which is nice. But Ravi's, crucially, she actually gets Saintly Wall up. That is going to be very, very nice against the 2 physical units. Not so much against Adelard. But the Hasted Glaciella is always very, very scary. As is Hasted Ravi's Triple Cross. So that's going to get rid of the barrier, but not a ton of damage. And Adelard, I imagine this is another fast cast. So both big units from King Delita's side probably going to be hasted up. And Zoma actually is not in range to do anything. What is the turn order going to be here? Ravi's is going to go. Mashari actually goes before him. Bravery bonus down. Again, the stun does not land. That is crucial. I almost wonder, is King Delita running stun resist? I imagine he isn't. Maybe Mashari is resistant to stun. I don't know. But Valkyrie Burst comes out from Regalia. I always say Regalia Glaciella. It's Flagbearer Glaciella. What does she have? 5375 is a good damage amount. I imagine with this chain on Winter Machri, she might be able to take her out. No, wait, she doesn't have hate. She doesn't have hate. Right? Unless she has, like, 0 height range, but I think Ravi's is out of hate. Holy Knight's Gift, this is going to do a ton of damage. I lied, that didn't do a ton of damage. It did an okay amount, like 3,800. Removes haste. I actually don't know if that haste was still online. I think it might have just expired anyway. Or maybe it just looked like that because of the counter, but gets the counter regardless. Sealing Thrust. That'll take care of Ravi's. It is now a 3v2 in King Delita's favor, looking to try and pull off this upset against one of the top teams in MaechenX. Psy Cannon comes out. This is probably going to do a lot. I'm wrong again. 3716. These units are bulkier than I expect. A couple of attacks that I expected to kind of one-shot the other unit, and not even close. A little bit of loading time here as Zoma is just sitting there thinking about how bad he wants to win this. Dispelling Spear Flight comes out, 2,500 damage. The self-heal actually heals for more damage than she did, though. Zoma, again, so damn good against these physical units. Miranda, this is going to hurt a lot. That time I am correct. 7,500 damage. Winter Machri goes down. It is now back to a 2v2. I gotta say, I probably favor MaechenX's side of this on the 2v2. Zoma and Miranda both very strong. Dispelling Spear Flight. That was some good damage. She is out of AP, though. Miranda, these 2 turns are huge, though, because Miranda and Zoma can go right back to back. Dispelling Thrust, only 2814. Dispels buffs. Zoma, Limit Break? No, goes for Death Aesthetics, because I believe she has a barrier on. I imagine she probably does. I don't know any other reason he would have went for that. Adelard, I don't know if he can reach, but does he go for a Kiraga? He did this in one of the other fights. That's looking like what he's going to do. Goes for the heal. Oh, it's Kirada, excuse me. Single target, 4741. That's actually pretty massive, though. And my question is, can Glaciella take out Zoma without AP? Yes, she can. 2667. Re-raise going to proc. He comes back up. They need to get rid of her very, very soon. Oh my god, she was actually going for Adelard, and he magic reflexes it. This might actually be in King Delita's favor at this point. Oh my god, another reflex. Psy Cannon goes off. Oh my god, 2 reflexes in a row. Yikers. All right, King Delita, I think, is looking pretty good here. Shadow Flare. It's going to drop the AoE resist. I imagine this kills Zoma. Elemental Advantage. 2761. Yeah, that's enough. It is now a 2v1. Those 2 reflexes being big. I don't know how this would have turned out the other way. Although Miranda still has a water gun. Could get... No, shot. What is happening? double reflex. This is such a sick animation. It's going to do absolutely nothing. Oh, God, Machen, I'm so sorry it has to go down this way. Shining Conviction going to do a lot. Adelard's going to pick up this kill, I think. I think Adelard picked up the first 2 kills, didn't he? Is this a triple kill for Adelard? Oh, my God. Dropping the Esper Bomb on him. It's Bahamut, Mega Flare from the skies, dropping a goddamn meteor on her head. Don't do her like this. You can't just reflex 4 times in a row and then drop a summon on a girl. That's just not fair. That's not fun. It is pretty fun. I'm not going to lie. The big upset coming out from King Delita. Wow. Takes it in game 3. Impressive by both players. That was a damn close series. I'm not going to say he would have lost without the reflexes because it was very, very close. But it would have been down to the wire. It looked much more one-sided because of them. I think he probably only needed 1 reflex to win that. I don't know if he would have won with 0, but I think even with just 1, he probably wins that. He happened to get 4 of them, but I think even with just 1, he probably gets that, which after a certain point, like the odds are that you are going to get 1. So, but man, hats off to King Delita. Congrats to him. Hats off to MaechenX too, up to this point. Finally gets a series loss, but did manage to pick up a game, so we'll be sitting there with 13 points. But King Delita keeping himself in the thick of it with those 3 points added to his total. So, heck of a series. Let's go ahead and check out the standings and see how we're looking before our supplemental draft. All right, guys, I lied to you. Before we check out the standings, we're going to look at some of the stat leaders first to just bring up a little hype towards the standings. So first of all, Naya with 34 assists 5 weeks in. This is absolutely insane to me. To be fair, Coppola has brought Naya in every single game that he has played, and he has played a total of 12 games. So as you can see, 2.83 assists per game for 12 games is 34. That number is just absolutely massive. But she's been exceptional. She's been exceptional all season. Cop's team's been just absolutely running over people. In second place, we've got Little Leela, the silence machine of the Superrenes with 24 assists for herself. Very, very impressive. Uni of the Shoopufs Sweetheart, another low-cost unit with 21 assists. Mustadio of the Corpse Brigade. If you told me that Mustadio was going to have 17 assists 5 weeks in at the start of the season, I probably wouldn't have believed you, but Willie Goat's putting on a show with a 4-1 record. Absolutely excellent stuff. Aerith, another Superrenes unit with a lot of assists, 17 through 5 weeks. Lucio of the Gnostics, not a surprise at 14. Zazan, Bearhemian Rhapsody. Sandrooster didn't even find this team until like halfway through week 3, and you can see he already has 13 assists. So that shows how effective that he's been. 2.6 a game. My guy Severo, 13, 2.17 a game. Pretty happy with that. I said at the beginning of this season, before matches started, that I thought my success would depend on how good Severo actually was. I had never used him before a single time before this season. I was putting my faith on how good I thought he was on paper, and I think he's been pretty good. If my team has lost, it hasn't been because Severo's a bad unit, so he's been solid. 9th place, well, I guess technically tied for 7th with also with Zazan and Severo. We've got Valade and Delita as well with 13 assists. Excellent stuff, honestly, from all of these units. Let's go ahead and check out the kill leaders. For the kill leaders after week 5, of course, it's none other than Starlight Elena for Coppola's The Gnostics with 14 kills, 2.00 kills per game. Second place, we've got Halloween Lucia. We've seen how effective she can be throughout the season with 12 kills. My girl, Little Leela the Bold, tied with 3 other units, with Glaciella Wazette of Pineapple Pizza, Zoma of Shoopufs Sweetheart, and Flag Bearer Glassy of the Black Sheep Knights. So King Delita got in a unit up here on the list. Very, very cool to see. All of those 4 units all have 11 kills. And again, Jade and Rundall putting in massive work for Sandrooster's team with 10 kills. Delita of the Corpse Brigade, 10 kills. And Perrine, like I said, Superrene for sure. She's only come to 3 games and she's on the kill leader list, which is just absolutely insane to me. Summer Jaden also has 8 kills with 1.6 kills per game, and a special shout out to Skahal of the Gnostics. I only make this sheet up to the top 10, but technically there is an exact perfect tie between Summer Jaden and Skahal, and they both have 8 kills and both have 1.60 kills per game, so I couldn't show them both, but Skahal is also tied for 10th with that kill leader. So let's go ahead and check out the standings and see how it breaks down before our supplemental draft. All right, guys, so I know I've mentioned the term supplemental draft a couple of times in this video. If you don't know what that is, if you didn't watch season 1 or you're new to the WDL or something like that, essentially what it is a 1-round draft where every team in the league gets to select one more unit to add to their team. We do it roughly halfway through the season, just after week 5. There's 9 regular season weeks, so this feels like a good time to do it, to kind of, it's basically meant to like help teams who feel like they're missing one piece, right, from their team. They're just like, hey, I really wish I had a low cost unit to be able to form these 2 units together, or man, I really wish I would have grabbed the magic user or a tank or whatever. A lot of teams are missing that one thing, and it gives them that opportunity to add that to their team. And in order to make it fair, what we do is the draft order is in the reverse order of the standings. So first place will pick last place will pick first, so on and so forth, and that's kind of how it goes. So taking a look at the standings after 5 weeks, we've got Coppola all alone in first place with the Gnostics, 15 points, a clean 5-0-0 record, only dropping 2 single games, but not dropping a single series to this point. MaechenX with the Shoopufs Sweetheart in second place with 13 points. King Delita finally being the first team to take him down. Willie Goats putting a stamp on third place this week with his series win over the Gumi Gods with 12 points. The Corpse Brigade looking very, very strong. AllSmokedUp, Gumi Gods, if the playoffs ended right now, he would be in it. So he's done really, really well for himself as well. 10 points for them. Sandrooster and the Bearhemian Rhapsody. I said this after week 2. Now I'm going to continue to say it. He had 0 points after week 2, and I said if there was a single team that was not in like that top 3-4 teams that I thought would turn it around, I said it was that one, and bless it, he is proving me right. I wish I was wrong, because I wish I would have beat him, but I didn't. That team looks incredibly scary, and I think they're going nowhere but up, to be honest. I myself, along with SurfTaco, are tied in 6th place with 8 points. And now this may look strange to you guys on the standings that I have my team ranked ahead of his, because my team is actually +-1 in total games. His is exactly even. The reason for that is his 2 full series wins, he's won both of them 2-0. And one of mine, I won 2-1, the one against him. So normally you would think like the team with 0 rather than -1 would be ahead of the other one. However, our first tiebreaker that we use is head-to-head record, and I did beat him this week. So I am technically 6th place and he is 7th, even though it might look strange on the standing sheet. In 8th place, we've got King Delita and the Black Sheep Knights with 5 points. Mr. Aloha, Pineapple Pizza with 4 points, and Unhindered in the Storm Reborn. God, this guy's been so dang close so many times. I know the points are coming. I don't know when. I hate to say it. I hope it's not this next week because I play against him. Hoping he doesn't pick up some stud unit in the supplemental draft and wreck me with him. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, those are the standings up to this point. So like I said, the draft order is in reverse order of standings. So our draft order of the supplemental will be Unhindered, Mr. Aloha, King Delita, SurfTaco, myself, Sandrooster, AllSmokedUp, Willie Goats, MaechenX, and Coppola. That is all I have for you guys this week for the Rundall division. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so happy to be back. Again, huge special shout out to all the shoutcasters who did it last week. They did a tremendous job. Yeah. I'm very, very happy with how things are going. It's been a really, really great ride, and I'm excited for these next 4 weeks to play out. So that being said, I will make some sort of video going over the supplemental draft breakdown. Not sure when that'll come out. I think we're doing the draft like tonight or today. As I'm filming right now, Unhindered might have already made his pick. I'm not entirely sure yet, so we'll have to see. But thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate all of you guys. Love all you guys. You guys have a wonderful day.